Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I have to say, Lisa, listening to your remarks, I was reminded of a recent conversation I had with the legislative assistant of a Democratic member of the House Ways and Means Committee who told me that we have too much housing. And I was there to talk with her about affordable housing. So we have to have the conversation every day, and we take nothing for granted. And thank God we have people like David Smith to help us do that. I first met David Smith in, I think, 1983, 1982. He and I were both about 10 at the time. I was a tax something or other at Ernst & Winnie, and David was at Boston Financial Group. I was sent over to work with him on some crazy recapitalization deal that he had put together with financing that was expressed in an algorithm, which was fine for David because David majored in applied mathematics at Harvard, and I fulfilled my math requirement at Georgetown by taking the history of mathematics. We weren't just completely in sync that way, but we were in sync and have been in many other ways since then. Now, the way that we met physically was that David was sitting at a desk typing a memo behind a cubicle, and I came up, introduced myself, and started talking with him. And he and I were talking about X, and he was typing a memo. And this was going on for a couple of minutes. And then it occurred to me, this is odd. He's talking to me about X, and he's typing a memo about Y. This is an extraordinary fellow. And of course, that was the first introduction I had to just how smart David Smith was. They say that men can't multitask, and I can certainly attest to that. This is a different kind of multitasking. I don't want to take a lot of David's time, and going through his bio would A, take too much time, and B, most of you know about it anyway. He has been a long-time public policy advocate in so many ways, and for so many years, going all the way back to the programs that help the older assisted inventory. If you go back through, just even in the 80s, LIPRA, and then mark-to-market, enhanced vouchers, all the things that we had to do with the older assisted inventory, and then now in the current generation, watching out for and looking and analyzing the tax credit world. At the same time that David is doing that, he's writing science fiction novels at 2 o'clock in the morning, which some of you may not know about. His nom de plume is D. Alexander Smith. And then over here, some 6-7 years ago, David founded the Affordable Housing Institute, a nonprofit group which has been doing research and pro bono consulting in Turkey, South Africa, the Philippines, India, Colombia, the UK, which you would think would be on that list, but there's a lot of interesting things happening there, and the list goes on. And to do this work, David's been getting funding from people like the Rockefeller Foundation and Bill and Melinda Gates. Well, if you're getting funding from Bill and Melinda Gates, it's because you're doing something really good and really smart. And David is doing that, going around the world, talking about building housing ecosystems in ways that would do everyone in this room very proud. So the vision thing is right here. It's my pleasure to have nominated David Smith for a Vision Award. Fred, come on. You got me into this, Fred.